2 handicap, looking to get on a more inside to out plane, as this steepness of path can cause some inconsistencies of direction. So going to your setup, I think you're already beginning in a position that's going to keep you more vertical with your path by leaning onto your toes, bending forward too much, and generally leaning over the ball a bit too far. So when that's the case, things tend to get vertical and it's hard to get that path to work inside. So here is your path line, and let's watch the takeaway as the first move starts pretty far to the outside. Now the camera angle could be a little low and in, and this could be actually more on plane, but for the sake of argument, you're still taking it away to the outside with a limited rotation at this point in your hips. So if you were to begin with a little bit more rotation and pressure back into that right heel, you'd be able to pivot open and get that arm to work a little bit flatter and deeper to the top. Now that alone could just be enough to take your path and shallow it out a bit, because right now it is just a bit steep, and that face being a hair open could lead to some flipping and early extension like you have also mentioned. So the setup is a big part of this. Just leaning back and getting more balanced, standing up a little bit taller is a good feel, and you'll certainly probably need to get in a little bit closer to the ball as well. But the notion of an inside takeaway being a bad thing is nonsense, in my opinion. If you want to take a year, and I know that seems like a long time, but if you want to take that much time and work on a swing that's not necessarily a rip to the inside, but get that club to start working right about here in your backswing, and if you turn your hips and turn your shoulders a bit more, that will become rather easy, and that will set you up on a flatter path with more depth at the top. You will run into issues if you turn out of it and start rotating a bit early, which is what you tend to do here as well. So our torque comparison will be a different look at how to move that right knee in, because all that space away from the ball is being kind of covered or moved in closer to the ball by that right knee flex here. So standing up taller, backing up away from it, and let's actually fade to our Tour Pro Cam Smith. So we'll watch the knee flex, we'll watch the path here as well. So I'll get our line up and we'll play it through to see first move takeaway. Yeah, the pros do like to keep those arms away and take the club away outside as well. The hip turn is continuous and fluid. There's not a ton of it, but it does continue to rotate and bring that club and arm position continuously flat. Things are still working in that direction through the transition. Ultimately, the elbow will tuck in, and now is the time to start watching the right knee flex, where yours will simply flex down and in closer to the ball, and Cam's right knee will start working and flexing more towards target. So continuing the downswing through, the right knee will never really get outside of the toes, closer to the ball, and that drive in and towards target should pivot the hips open and keep that spine angle down a bit more. Now the path, it's not really an inside out path necessarily, but it is a shallowing effect through the transition and up from the top by driving and flexing that right knee down and in towards target. So I'll do a quick maneuver back to you real quick and watch the knee flex one more time as we'll cue you up again. Play through the backswing. You can take it away outside if you continue to get more turn and depth. But you see how that transition wants to start picking up and lifting with the hands a little bit? That needs to be resolved by driving the right knee, getting your weight shift more forward, and dropping the hands. Getting flatter and deeper will help, but getting away from right knee flex and generally all of your weight being more towards your toes will be a good thing in the long run. Good luck. Sendaswing.com.